Hey, thanks for dropping by. Well, today we're going to be back at more sanding and fill. We're going to get the floor painted and some walls up, and it's going to have paint on it. And towards the end of this video, you're gonna see what it's looking like. I went through a ton of filler. I used a combination of Bondo, glaze, and spot putty, and also regular Bondo. A ton of sandpaper. The regular Bondo ate up a bunch of sandpaper. Like, I'm not even joking, probably 30 sheets. These videos should start getting more interesting as we go after this one. Wanted to document everything and show how I got to where I am with the shop. I didn't just want to show up on YouTube with a already built RC shop and just start adding on to it. So it's all part of the process. It'll come together. So like I was saying in my last video, I went out and got the regular can of Bondo. After about a tube and a half of glaze and spot filler, it was just getting too expensive. I needed something a lot better. The plywood was very rough, had a lot of imperfections, still has some imperfections, but I'm happy with it. It looks like scale damage. It doesn't look like plywood to me anymore, so I'm really happy. And again, a ton of filler. Like, I was putting filler on, I'd let it dry, I'd sand, I'd find more spots, so I'd have to put more filler on. This time-lapse video doesn't do it justice. I probably spent a day on and off just filling these panels and everything in. That back wall is going to get cut into again at some point. I do want to add windows into the RC shop, so that's something I have coming up in the future. Not quite sure when. Like I say, wanted to get it in the house together, get a feel for it, do measurements, and have stuff set up beside it to get a grasp on where I wanted stuff. Still rocking the safety flip-flops. I've upgraded to a mask though. I have that fan in the door now, so it's pulling a lot of dust out and keeping it out of my lungs. The mask was definitely a smart idea, especially sanding Bondo. You gotta stay safe. If I had my time back, I still don't know if I'd spend the extra money on the finished plywood, or if I'd still go this route. The little imperfections and dents and everything, it has that old kind of shop repaired. It's been repaired look, so it's not a showroom. Like, we're not at a Mercedes dealership here. So I don't know. All the extra work with the fill and everything, it was a lot. A ton of sanding. It made my garage just a complete mess. But it adds a lot of character, and I mean, I didn't want an absolute perfect shop. You can see here how I cut all the doors out for my shop. I just used a piece of plywood as a guide, screwed it down to the wood, and made nice straight cuts. Did the same thing with the jigsaw. You'll see that. I'm onto that right now. But that was the same process I used for all the doors. I ended up adding 2 man doors and 1 bay door. Gonna add more stuff on windows. I'd like exhaust vents, so there's gonna be more holes drilled in this. I think it's gonna be taken apart a couple more times at least, but it's not all gonna get done overnight. First few videos have been kind of dry and boring. I get that. It's just time lapses with some generic music playing, but there's not really much else I can say. So I was saying in my last video how I was running out and getting Bondo, and I got the fan and everything. We're at that part here now. So I did spray a thin layer of primer over the floor, or the tabletop, whatever you want to call it, just so I could see the imperfections, see what was standing out still, and basically did a full round of Bondo on this again, and a lot of sanding on that tabletop. I never thought it was going to end. I was like, why did I start this? Is this even worth it? Like, what am I doing here? It's been a few years since I worked with Bondo. Almost forgot how tedious, monotonous it can be. Mix too little hardener in and it takes forever to dry, or just won't dry. You put too much in and then it literally hardens to the mixing board. It wasted a lot. I don't know. I find I sand too much or don't put enough fill, so I'm always chasing myself and fighting myself with it. This stuff is literally like kind of an art in its own, working with body filler and getting perfectly smooth finishes. I don't know how guys do it. I've done auto body repair on my own vehicles before, but I mean, it was always just a patch, and it wasn't going to SEMA after, so. I'll drop some links to some of the products I used in the description. There'll be affiliate links, which means I'll earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. Sure sign you're getting old when the carpal tunnel starts acting up from sanding and spreading body filler around. My wrist was just throbbing after this project run on the sander. I did a little bit of sanding yesterday on the table legs. I ended up switching out, not using that sit stand desk anymore. It's too wobbly. The tabletop is 3 feet wide and then 5 feet long. The length's not really the issue, it's the width. It's just too tippy, so I've aborted that plan, and you'll see coming up in the video what I did for legs. Basically just built it into a bench. It's a lot stronger, it's stable, it's not going to be super shaky for when I'm trying to film or take photos, stuff like that, or even bump into it and just have everything fall over, because I mean, yeah, the sit stand desk would have been perfect. It was good in theory. Maybe it was too cheap a one, I don't know, too big of a surface. I'd say it had a lot to play into it. But. Okay, we're on the primer now. I threw the towel in on the filler. Man, it's still not perfect, but I'm happy with it. I'm just using Duplicolor filler primer, just gray. I ended up switching up primers towards the end just for a darker finish, but I wanted to go with the filler primer just to build up the little tiny imperfections, and just had to cover over the Bondo and all the fill. It takes a lot of primer to do that. I used pen when I marked everything out for the bottom of the tabletop just to strengthen it, or straighten it up and strengthen it, and the pen was bleeding through the primer. Apparently that is a thing. So that was also part of the reason why I put so many coats of primer on. It doesn't show on the time lapse, but I put 3 cans of filler primer on that. Then now you can see here I've switched over to Duplicolor Fleet Coating. It's a high build primer as well. It's a little bit of a darker color. I thoroughly enjoy that color. Gives it kind of that epoxy floor look. I used the whole can of the high build Fleet primer on this. Worked out to be 2 coats I got out of it. I was done with it after that. It all looked even to me. It was covered well. I liked the color, so I went on the clear coat after that. There we go, that's all primed. I think it looks great on camera. You can see little blemishes and whatnot, but like I say, I'm not worried about it. It just adds character. Looks like a little bit of a dull spot over in that corner. I'm not sure if it was a lighting or what, but I don't notice it inside after it was clear coated, so I'm happy. On to the clear coat. I'm using Rust-Oleum Satin Clear. I put 4 coats of this on. Laid a tack coat down, a medium coat, and then went on to 2 wet coats. It was kind of cold, rainy, and chilly that morning. I woke up early, went out into the garage, turned the heater on, kind of warmed it up in there. Didn't want the clear coat to react badly or go white from too cool of a temperature, too much humidity. Run the heater for about an hour and a half. The dust was settled. It was the day after, so I wasn't worried about that. And then just kept going with the primer. I think this is on my first wet coat. Everything below the tabletop or the shop floor I painted black pearl. It's not overly glossy, and then I went with icy incline on the walls. I think it all flows good together. There we go, waiting for paint to dry again. You can see the table legs they came up with there. I still need to make a filler piece for the bottom. I'm happy with it, stronger than a sit stand desk will ever be. And then now here's some shots. Well, that's the end of the video. Drop a comment, like, subscribe, and stick around for more content. Thanks for watching.